When you're in a tight area and you're moving around and things are time-based and someone's weighing something out while someone's stirring something and someone's prepping something else, a lot of times people can trip over each other, but the three of us have always had a really good movement and be able to kind of cover each other's strengths and weaknesses and move about in a way that really clicked.
We complement each other and we can also do what the other person does. So at any point in time, you can just pluck one person out, pluck another person in, and it worked really well.
That passion kind of clicked for me, like these are guys that I could see starting a business with.
We've been brew buddies for years now, you know. We've definitely been working hard, the three of us around the clock. I mean, you know, with our full-time jobs, you know, we actually put more hours in here than we do our full-time jobs. I love the 50 to 60 hours a week I spend here. It gets tiring, but I can't wait to be able to do it full-time and spend 80 to 90 hours a week here, just here. So,
Second Wind is definitely more than a side project. It's our primary focus. And that's we want to elevate it, not too quickly, but quickly enough where we keep people interested and keep product moving, keep smiles on people's faces.
Our schedules are pretty well balanced when it comes down to it. Kenny's usually can be here during the day, kind of work from here with his full-time job.
I work in central operations for a company that's based in Europe, so the majority of my time is spent dealing with European time schedules. I'll do my day job from the bar.
I can be here on the weeknights and obviously weekends brewing. And JR's you know, usually later at night and has a 3-day weekend here himself.
Second Wind is the brainchild of Hans, myself, and JR. We had been homebrewing for a number of years together. My love of craft beer started in the late 90s.
I've been a plumber for, this is going on 16 years now. I've been brewing for at least about 12 years. A lot of brewing in the past, batch by batch at home. Definitely always kept my house full of small batch beers.
Pretty much just homebrewed with Hans. We started in his kitchen. It was pretty fun, and it still is. You know, get to make beer and hang out with your friends all day.
You know, we were brewing at Hans's apartment pretty much every week for a good year and a half, probably before that break came to work at Indie Firm. Hans had done the plumbing at Mayflower, was recommended to do the work at Indie Firm. Hans jumped on the opportunity, recognizing we needed skill in a commercial setting, offered Paul assistance to help with the initial brews. Within 3-4 months, JR and I were working there also. We worked for about a year and a half for beer and pizza, each learning how to operate the brew house, focusing on cleaning kegs. Homebrewing doesn't teach you how to manage cleaning kegs or distribution or the taxes and things like that. So for a good period of time, you know, we were with Paul at both locations for about 2 years. You know, got to see how the tap room operated.
Now that I've gotten my transfer all done, I got all the wort from the mash tun into the boil kettle, trying to bring that up to a boil. It condenses the wort down to the gravity we want. Also, it gives us time to add our hops and our other ingredients. It isomerizes our hops for bitterness, balances the beer out. Also sterilizes the wort so the yeast has something clean to start eating. So yeah, this one's a 90-minute boil. Kind of brings out some of the caramel and dark fruit notes from the long boil, from the caramelization of the sugars. So the space that we're in, actually, we looked at. I came and looked at it a couple years before we had actually set this in stone, saying we were going to do this. And I didn't see potential in this building at all. Especially when I looked at it by myself, there was no plumbing, no electrical, no gas, no utilities, and there was just nothing in here. After we saw some gigantic places that were going to cost us a fortune to run while we have full-time jobs and we are counting on our second wind to operate this stuff, we decided that maybe this place would be the most manageable. You know, it's small, it's quaint, we fit a lot in here. We were able to do all the work ourselves, from getting the utilities in to hanging all the sheetrock and building the equipment. We did quite a bit of work here. So
for us, the thought was we would outgrow this building at some point. The question would be how quickly. The equipment is set up that we can brew once a week, empty the tank once a week, fill another one. So it basically had us on a weekly schedule, looking at about 300, 350 barrels a year. The demand is really looking not to be seasonal, but more year-round, that we have more accounts requesting our beer than we can service right now. So we took the plunge. If we're going to ship one tank, we might as well ship 3. So we're going to go to max capacity here shortly after Labor Day. So in about a year's time, we'll have increased our capacity to roughly 700 to 750 barrels a year out of this building. We've completely outpaced what I thought we would be at in about a year's time. We realized we're new, it's summer, we've got to be able to bring people in here the same amount of revenue in February and have beers that keep regulars coming back. So we feel that pressure. Having all those tanks here, we need the time and resources to fill them. We're trying to free up our own resource to be here more, have one of us be here full time, but we're happy to be there, and the challenge is really, as demanding as it is, it's a great place to be. Right now, the market is driving what we want to brew, what we want to drink. We want drinks that have a lot of appeal, beers that will draw people in and keep them interested. We're seeing shifts, or have been seeing shifts, towards more local. People want to have their own hometown local. They support the beers that are made in their hometown from people they know.
When you're in a tap room like this, just like any other tap room, you start seeing these people talk to each other and start saying, well, I like this one, well, I like this one, and it's pretty neat how it draws people together. One beverage, it's always been that way. That's something that I've always enjoyed about the craft beer and beer period, and the history of it too as well.
I think beer is popular because it's simple and complex at the same time. Like, I can hand you a beer, you might get a note that I might not get, or some sort of taste that I don't get. Then you start talking about like how to get that, and then from there it just stems into talking more about beer.
To us, it's a really interesting dynamic to play with, because the beer will always come first, and all those are dynamics that we probably underestimated a little bit when we started. We're just thinking about how to make the great beer.